Hi everyone, welcome to Job Fever. So today we are going to watch video related to functional interface. So it is very important according to the interview. So I'm making video according to interview only. So let's get started. So we'll understand one by one. So what is functional interface? Okay, and how to use lambda expression, how to create functional interface, types of functional interface, what is predicate, what is function interface, what is consumer interface, what is supplier interface, and coding questions of predicate, function, consumer, and supplier. So we are going to cover all these things, so please be calm. It will take some time to understand all the core concept of functional interface. So we'll do one by one. So let's get started. So first, what is function interface? So a function interface is an interface that contains only one abstract method. Okay, so it will contain only one abstract method. It's introduced in Java 1.8. Okay, so and function interface can have any number of default methods. Okay, any number of default methods and static method, but only one abstract method should be there inside the function interface. So this is the example of the real-time function interface, which is runnable, callable, comparable. Okay, so function interfaces are included in Java 8 with lambda expressions and method references in order to make code more readable, clean, and straightforward. Okay, so it introduced in Java 8. Function interfaces are used and executed by representing the interface with annotation address function interface. As described earlier, function interfaces can contain only one abstract method. However, they can include any quantity of default and static method. Okay, so uh, we can use address function interface, so it's optional to use, but if you use address function interface on the top of your interface, then it will restrict to use only one abstract method inside the function interface. So it will be better to use address function interface on the top of the interface, and we can use multiple default and static methods inside the function interface as we discussed earlier. Okay, so function interface notation is used to ensure that function interface can't have more than one abstract method. Just now I explained everything. In case more than one abstract method are present, the earlier flags and unexpected function interface notation message. Okay, we'll get this message, and however, it is mandatory to use this annotation. So yes, it will be good if you use. It is not mandatory to use. Okay, so you can if you use it will be good. Otherwise, there is no force to use adult function interface for creating a function interface. So in functional interfaces, there is no need to use abstract keyword, and it is optional to use the abstract keyword because by default the method defined inside the interface is abstract only. Okay, we can also call a lambda expression as an instance of function interface. So it is optional to use abstract keyword inside the functional interface because by default all the method which you are going to declare inside the functional interface will be abstract method only. Okay, so let's move how to use lambda expression. Okay, so we are going to see all the types of function interface with the help of lambda expression. So firstly we will understand how can we create lambda expression, okay, for any function interface. So we have by default function interface inside the Java, which is runnable, callable. Okay, so we will see with the help of the runnable how can we create thread. Okay, we can create thread with the help of the runnable interface, and we can create with the help of the uh, mm, thread class also. Okay, so here we are going to see with the help of the how can you create with the help of the runnable interface. Runnable interface is a functional interface, so we can use the lambda expression. Okay, only one method is there, which is run method. So what we are going to do here, so we will create with the help of the anonymous class. Okay, so new thread, we are creating one new thread. Inside we are passing the instance of new runnable. Okay, and inside new runnable, this is run method is here. So we overridden the run method and we return our logic, which is new thread created, and dot start. That means that we have thread dot start. So it will be like this in anonymous inner class. Okay, but when you are using the lambda expression, so we class where code will be like this. It will be very short, like lambda expression to create the object. So what we are doing here, we are getting a new instance of a thread, and this will be the form to this is the way to create the lambda expression. So what here we are doing a new runnable. Okay, so inside we can skip all these things new runnable. Okay, we know only one method is there inside the inside the runnable interface, which is run. Okay, so inside the thread we are declaring this run. When we are using this bracket, that means the bracket is pointing to run method. Okay, and there we can write our logic. So we have made here one bracket, that means it's a pointing to bracket is pointing to run method. Okay, and then we can write our own logic here. Okay, so this is pointing to run method. Inside we have written new thread created. Okay, and dot start, that means the according ts dot start, that means that we have already created one thread, and thread dot start. So this is the short form to create the thread with the help of the lambda expression, and this is the way to create with the help of anonymous class. Okay, so we are going to use lambda expression in our uh, function interface examples. Okay, so how to create function interface? Yeah, so this is the way we can create the function interface to create custom function interface, because in Java already we have function interface. Okay, so we are going to create custom function interface. So we have one interface we created. Okay, interface is square. So one method is there to calculate. Okay, inside the square. So this will be the only one abstract method. There is no need to provide any abstract keyword for making a abstract method. Okay, because all the method will be by default abstract method inside, which is available inside the function interface. Okay, and only one method should be there. So we have made at that function interface for making function interface. And how we are writing here, with the help of the lambda expression we are making the changes. So if calculate method will take one argument. Okay, and it will return int. So here what we are doing here, int x. Okay, that means that when you are doing int x, okay, so it is pointing to this calculate method. Okay, so int x, that means we are taking x as a argument. Okay, and we are doing some calculation with the help of this, that means the x into x. Okay, so we are calculating here square. Okay, and this is the reference of our function interface. So square is equal to, we can write logic like this. So this is the way we can write logic. So we have written logic inside the calculate method, and we can call like s dot, we have method reference, sorry, we have a reference of interface, and we have method which is calculate method. So we are passing here s dot calculate a which is 5. So here we'll get the result, which is 5 into 5 25 will get. So like this we can create function interface inside the Java with the help of the Java features. Okay, so let's see the next topic, which is types of function interface. So we have predefined functional interface inside the Java, which is predicate, function, okay, consumer. These are the famous functional interfaces: predicate, function, consumer, and supplier. So we will see one by one. So predicate, let's start it from a predicate. In scientific logic, a function that accepts a argument and in return generate a boolean value as a key as an answer is known as predicate. Okay, so and similarly in Java programming language, a predicate functional interface of Java is a type of function that accept a single value or argument, and does not sort of processing on it, and returns a, and does some sort or processing does some, and returns a boolean. Okay, so will be the, it takes, predicate will accept a single value. Okay, or argument, and returns true and false. Okay, that means it takes argument, a single argument, and it returns true or false value, boolean value. Okay, the implementation of the predicate function interface also encapsulates the logic of filtering. Okay, basically we use this concept in Java stream. Okay, so if you want to filter, then we use stream dot filter method. So this is the example of predicate. Just like the consumer functional interface, predicate function also has some extensions. These are int predicate, double predicate, and long predicate. Okay, so these are the functional interface. Okay, so if you want to return int, then you can use int predicate, double predicate, and long predicate. Okay, like this type of the predicates functional interface accept only primitive data types or values as argument. Okay, so you can use these also. And by predicate is also an extension of the predicate functional interface, which instead of one task, one takes two arguments. Okay, does some processing and return the boolean value. So here we explain it takes one in function. It takes one value as a parameter as an argument, and returns true and false. That means the returns boolean value. But in by predicate, okay, so we have predicate also, and we have by predicate also. Okay, so in predicate it takes one input, okay, and returns boolean. But in by predicate it takes two input and returns boolean. Okay, so I hope you understood. And syntax of predicate function interface, this will be the if you see the java code, so you'll get like this interface predicate. Okay, only one test method will be there, which will take input here. It's taking input here, and it's returning boolean as a return value. Okay, so here we can you can type you can do integer. Here you can write integer, string, long, double, anything you can write. Okay, or if you don't want to write integer, double, long, then we have already just now we seen we have int predicate, double predicate, and long predicate. So we can use long predicate, okay, int predicate, double predicate. Okay, so this is also a way to use. And the predicate function interfaces can also be implemented in the class. The okay, so this is the way we are creating here custom predicate. Okay, so like this to check for null. And how can we create like this? We can do. Okay, the predicate function can also be implemented in lambda expression. An example of the implementation of the predicate function interface is given below. Okay, so this will be like this. We can create the predicate. So when what is it doing here? So this is the function interface, predicate function interface. In bracket we are writing value. Okay, so in bracket that means it's if you are writing inside the bracket value, so it is pointing to test method, because only one method inside the predicate, so it's pointing to test method. And what we are doing here, it's simply we are checking, we are doing some process, we are returning here true and false. So value not equal to null. If value is not equal to null, okay, then it will, so here it will return true and false according to the scenario. If value will be null, okay, so it will return false. If value will be any other thing, so it will return true. Okay, because we are making here not equal to. Okay, so like this we can write the predicate. In filter is the real time example of the predicate. Okay, in stream API we use filter to do some filtering things. If you want to filter by age, filter by name, like this. Okay, so let's start function. So what is function? So function is a type of functional interface in java that receives only a single argument and returns a value after required processing. Okay, so before starting the functions, firstly we'll try to understand, firstly we'll see the previous things, which was predicate. So we'll try to understood by the code. Okay, so we'll try to see the function. Just now we covered the predicate. Okay, so I will show you the how it is written. Okay, so in predicate, so we have test method. Okay, so it takes one input and returns boolean. Okay, so, and here it's a function interface. So this is the way, this is the internal code of predicate. Okay, so it will be easy to understand, so I shown you. So let's start it again. Function, a function is type of functional interface in java that receives only a single argument and returns a value after the required processing. Okay, so it's take, so that receives only one single argument, so it takes only one argument and returns a value. So it takes argument and returns value. Okay, after the required processing, that means after the calculation. There are many what was there in previous case in predicate, so it was taking input but it was returning boolean value. But in this case it's taking input but returning value. So value may integer, string, double. Okay, according to a requirement, it may anything. Okay, it may be any custom class. So there are many versions of the function interface, because the primitive type can't imply a general type argument. So we need these versions of function interface. Many different versions of the function interfaces are instrumental and are commonly used in primitive type like double int. Okay, so like this you can use, like we have option to use double int long. Okay, by function. So in function, we have option to take single argument and it will return the value. Okay, and by function. Okay, so same method will be there in function, apply method will be there, but in by function we'll get two argument. Okay, and return, it will return value. Okay, but in case of function only, so it will get only one input. Okay, so here we have only code for by function. So it's taking two argument and returning the value. Okay, so it may return anything. And in case of the function, it will take only one input and it will return. So I will show you the function code, so it will be easy to understand you. So I think I have already opened function code. Oh, this is the function interface. Okay, so it's taking only one input and returning value. Okay, in case of the function. In case of the by function, what it will do, this is a by function. So we have apply method, it's taking two argument, it's returning value. Okay, so let's go back and we'll see in the above code. The above code of the function t and e are the inputs. Okay, so t and e are the inputs, just now I explained, and there is only one output which is r. So taking two and returning one. So map method in Steam API. This is the real-time example. If you know Steam API, so at the time of mapping, okay, your object, you can use Steam.map. Okay, and we can do some modification. So this is the and the input, the value, the its step function as a argument. So consumer. So third will be our consumer. So we'll try to understand what is consumer interface. The consumer interface of the function interface is one that accept only one argument. So here it's accept only one argument. Okay, and the consumer interface has no return value. Okay, so there is no return value of consumer. So it is very important. Okay, so try to understand. It takes only one argument and it's return no value. Okay, the returns nothing, it returns nothing. There are also functional variant of the consumer. Double, we have double consumer, we have int consumer, we have long consumer. Okay, these variants is the primitive value as a argument, same like. Okay, other than this variant, there is also more variant of the consumer interface are by consumer. Okay, so by consumer, that means it will take two input. Okay, it will return nothing. So consumer, it will be. Okay, so try to understand like this. Consumer, that means it will consume, so it will take some input, it will not retain anything. So like this you can remember by consumer. Okay, so it will same by consumer is the most exciting variant. Okay, the consumer interface takes one argument, but on the other side the by consumer takes two argument. Okay, so by consumer takes two argument. So syntax will be like this. So here it's a consumer interface. Okay, so we are consumer, this is the value what inside we are passing and we are printing. So what will be the method inside the consumer. Okay, let's check. So accept method is there. Okay, so there is a accept method inside consumer. Okay, so only one method will be there because it is a functional interface. Okay, only one abstract method will be there. Okay, multiple default method we can provide, so we have a default method here, but only one abstract method is available. Okay, so what it is what it is happening here. So it's taking t. Okay, so it's taking one argument and it's returning void. So it's not returning anything, so here return type is void. Okay, go back and continue. So this implementation of Java consumer function interface prints the value passed as a parameter to the print statement. This implementation use the lambda function of Java. Okay, so you know for each method in Steam, okay, we used to iterate. So inside for each it takes consumer, okay, so we use it to normally iterate the map or list. So this is the real time example of consumer interface for each method. Supplier interface, okay, so the supplier interface is also a type of the function interface that does not take any input or argument, and it returns a single output, okay, so that does not take any input, okay, so it, it does not take any input and but returns a single output. So in previous it was in consumer it was taking input but not returning anything, but here it's not taking any input and but returning output, okay, so this will be the case of supplier. So this type of the function interface is generally used in lazy generation of values. Supplier function interface are also used to defining the logic of the generation of any sequence, okay, like for Fibonacci series. The difference extension of the supplier function interface hold many other supplier, like we have boolean supplier, double supplier, long supplier, and int supplier, okay, same like previous. If you don't want to use type inside that function, okay, a supplier, then you can use you can implement boolean function, boolean supplier interface. You can use double supplier interface, long supplier, so it will return long, int, double, and boolean accordingly, okay. The syntax will be like this. In supply interface we have get method, okay, so there is no input inside the get, but we are returning t, okay, so t may integer, double, long, okay, boolean, anything. So we are going to see conclusion, okay, of predicate function and consumer and supplier. So in easy language, I try to, I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to make you understand. So this will be the interface predicate, okay, so inside the predicate there is a test method which will take input and it will return boolean, okay, so takes input and returns boolean, okay. So in function interface there is only one method which is apply. It's take one input and returns result, okay, or output. So takes input and returns value. So it value may integer, string, double, anything according to a requirement, okay. In consumer there is only one there is only one abstract method which is accept, okay, so takes input and return nothing. So it takes one input, okay, and returns nothing. That means it's returning void here. So takes input and return nothing. Supplier interface. So this is the fourth interface, okay, so there is a only one abstract method which is get method, and it takes nothing, okay, and it returns value, okay, so does not take input but return values. So like this is the conclusion of all the four interfaces, which is which are predicate, function, consumer, and suppliers. I think you understood everything, so we'll try to make you understand by code. So let's get started. We'll start the code wise, okay. So I have created one main a class which is functional interface test. So here we're going to start code one by one to understand easily, okay, so it might take some time to understand, but so first I'm going to do with a predicate, okay, so going to take example of predicate. So firstly we'll show you predicate class, okay, predicate interface, not class. So we have test method, so we are going to take one input and we are going to return boolean, okay. So for that purpose what we'll do, we'll take predicate from here, okay, predicate, okay, and it's asking for type. So which type? So I'm going to make it a string, and predicate, okay, equal to predicate. So only one it was taking only one input in predicate. So we have one method inside the predicate which is test method, okay, so it will take test and it will return boolean. So here we are going to make any like no need to provide for if you want to so there is no need of type inside the lambda expression. We can only write the t. Okay, so here in our case, so you can write t or anything you can write, so it will point to your string, and then you can write your logic like t dot, okay, t is a string, so if it is let's length greater than 5, okay, if t dot length is greater than 5, then it should return true, otherwise it should false. Okay, so this is the condition I have made on our argument, which is t dot length greater than 5, then it should return true, otherwise false. So how can we check? So sys out or predicate, we can do predicate dot, we have test method, so we'll call test method. Okay, and inside test method we will pass any name. Okay, I'm going to pass any name, random name, Saurabh Raj. Okay, so let's check, and we'll store this result inside the result. Okay, so result will be boolean, because it is predicate, so it will return in boolean. Okay, boolean result, and this will be the predicate dot test. So let's print result. What will be the result here? It's working or not? We'll check. So let's get, okay. So I'm getting here true, but that means the we passed one name which is Saurabh Raj. So the length of Saurabh Raj is greater than 5. So we are getting here. Let's pass Raj and run. It's working or not? We'll check. Okay. Yeah. So we are getting false. That means the Raj is working. Okay. So for the predicate, it's take it takes one input and returns output. Okay, so now we are going to do function, example of function. How? So function, okay, so just now we seen it's take one input and returns output, so output may be anything. Okay, so in case of the here, output will be boolean output. Okay, boolean output. Okay, so should be O. Okay, so but in this scenario output may string, integer, double, anything, any custom classes. So we are going to take example of function quickly. So function, so if you see function, what is inside the function? So this is the function interface. Only one method is there, object method, which is apply. So it's taking one input and it's a returning result. Okay, so here you can also see in explanation, represents a function that accepts one argument and produce a result. Okay, so Java is explaining. So here we are going to provide t. Okay, so t will be the type and this will be the return. So we are going to take a string, and a string will do some modification on a string. So our input will be also a string and our output will be also a string. So we are going to make a string and function equal to new, not require anything. So we are going to write with the help of the lambda expression. So here we can write function here f, you can write for understanding f. Okay, dot f dot, okay, we can do, so f dot, what we can do, so we have one string, so we can map, we can apply. So I'm going to do two lowercase. Okay, so I'm going to convert into lowercase. So f dot to lowercase, and let's run function. What we are passing from function, from the method, it will be converted into, it should be converted into lowercase. Okay, so function dot, we have method which is apply. Okay, so we are going to pass in uppercase. So we are going to pass in uppercase. So let's print we are getting in uppercase or not. So sys out So we'll store inside, so it will take a string and it will return a string, so return type should be a string. Okay, so result, you can make it function result. I'm going to print quickly. Yeah, let's print. Yeah, so here we are getting sort of. Okay, so it's taken capital letter, cap, all letters are in caps, and we got the lowercase. Okay, input is our uppercase and output will be lowercase, so we are getting like this. So function dot apply. Now let's check for quickly for another function interface, which is consumer. Consumer, so just now we seen what will be the consumer explanation. So it will take out input. Okay, it takes input and return nothing. It will not return anything. Takes. So let's do one example for consumer. Okay, so consumer, the consumer interface. So let's check code of consumer. So we have accept abstract method, only one abstract method, which is abstract. So it's take input and does not return anything. That means the so return type is void here. So I'm going to take one type string. I'm going to take string here also, consumer. Okay, equal to, so inside the consumer we have accept method. Okay, so basically we use for printing. Okay, for iterating. So here I'm going to we have apply method. Okay, so t, I'm going to use here t, and that t I'm going to sys out, going to print. No, simple thing I'm going to do t. Okay, consumer, and what we'll do here, consumer dot accept method. Okay, so we are going to Raj, going to print Raj. So let's check it's working or not. Run as application. Okay, here we are getting Raj, so it's working good. Okay, and now we are going to see example of supplier. Okay, so supplier, so just now we seen in supplier it takes no input. Okay, no input and returns value. Okay, so I'm going to take example of, so it will be, it takes no input and returns value. So supplier, and if you see the code of supplier, so there is a get method. Okay, so it takes no input and returns t, so type may be anything, you can write a string, double, anything. So here we are going to return a random number, so we are going to make here double. Okay, double. So supplier equal to, so there is a get method which does not take any input but returns. Okay, so math that random value we are going to, so here I'm going to return one random value, which is math dot random. Okay, so we did not provide any input because it does not take any input, so it will point to supplier method inside the supplier, which is get method. There is no input. Okay, so this is blank here. So let's print supplier dot get. Okay, and it's returns the value, so our return type will be double. Okay, so make it double, double result. Okay, so here it should be supplier. So already we have already declared result, so we'll make it supplier result and then we'll check as it supplier result. Okay, let's print and check are we getting or not. Okay, so sys out supplier here. Yeah, let's print. Are we getting a random number? Oh yeah, we are getting it, so it's working good. Okay, so this is the way we can use all the function interface. Okay, predicate, function, consumer, and supplier. We've seen everything. Okay, so and we've seen a real-time example in Steam also. Where can you use? Okay, all these things. So thanks for watching. I think you understood everything. If there is any doubt, so you can comment. So we can discuss on open platform. And thanks for watching. If you're loving my effort, please like, share, and subscribe. And bye everyone.